Hello? Are you still awake? You're supposed to be sweeping, silly. You're supposed to be sweeping. Well, not sweeping, but like, hug you, snorkeling me. You know, that kind of thing. Don't you even know how to sweep, silly? You've been awake for like 43 hours. You gotta go to bed. Or your sweep paralysis demon will show up. That's me. You can call me Quil. Quil. Q-U-I-L. Short for NyQuil. You can trust me to do my job as your sweep paralysis demon. And usually that job is to punish you for being awake for too long. But I like to think of myself as like a sort of contemporary, modernized sort of sweep paralysis demon. Well, I'll give you a final few chances to fall asleep before we start the smothering. So before we begin the smothering, I want to try and help you sleep first. Does that sound alright, silly? I'm sure you remember how to sleep. You've done it at least once before. You've probably slept like, I don't know, at least 10 times in your whole life, right? I feel like you can probably try and go to sleep. So I have a few different methods that I want to go over, and hopefully you can fall asleep. And by the way, if my twigs don't work, and then even the smothering doesn't work, then the Shadow Man is gonna come visit you, and you do not want to meet the Shadow Man. You're getting off kind of easy having me be here first, if you really think about it. Alright, let's try one of the things. I was hoping that this wonderful lullaby was going to help, but you don't seem any more tired. Not even a little bit. That's silly. Music boxes help lots of people go to sleep. I don't know why you don't know how to go to sleep. You know your body intrinsically knows how to sleep, right? If you were really trying, you'd be asleep by now. Okay, the first thing I thought I would try is bone magic. I know lots of different kinds of magic, and I have tried bone magic once about 1200 years ago, and it worked pretty well. Only one person died out of a sample of one, so that's statistically insignificant, and we need to have further trials and studies before we can really decide that bone magic is not helpful. So first, from what I understand of bone magic, you just gently tap on the bones. Just gently touch the bones. It makes a very relaxing sound. Not at all like little spiders crawling over your skull. You know, you're pretty cute for a human. And sometimes with the bone, you go pop, pop, pop. This bone? Oh, well, this bone is very special. I stole it from one of your ancestors, so it will probably be pretty effective if you really think about it. So we go pop, pop, pop. We go pop, 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 pop. We go tappy, 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 tap. And I just want you to relax, empty your mind, and do not worry about a single thing. Okay, just relax. Relax your mind. Pop, pop, pop. Relax your mind. Relax. I've met the Shadow Man. He's waiting just outside of your door. Not your physical door, of course, like your metaphysical door. There's a long line of different creatures that are gonna get you if you don't go to sleep on time. There's the phantoms that swoop down at you from the sky. No, wait, that's Minecraft. There's me, your sweet paralysis demon, Quil, and the Shadow Man, and then there's a big mud monster that will go to you in mud and make you there's Lucifer's one there. Lucifer. And then there's... who else? Oh, and then there's Bonnie from Bonnie and Friends. And then there's Wario is there. Wario will try to help you sweep. There's a giant walk. Like a, not a walk, you could get like a walk, you know, like a little pebble. But it's not a little pebble. It's a big walk that's gonna fall on you and force you to go to sleep. But none of that will happen, silly. None of that will happen because you're gonna fall asleep. This is relaxing. Relax your mind. And let the bone magic do its work. Just let it work. Just let it do its thing. Pop, pop, pop. Just look at the bones that I stole from the grave of your ancestor. And just let it take over. Just let it completely cover your mind and empty your thoughts and empty your brain and empty anything that's gonna help you not go to sleep. But you are gonna go to sleep because I'm gonna make sure you go to sleep. Because, like I said, even if my different techniques to help you sleep don't work, I will have to do the smothering. I'm gonna have to do the smothering. And you're probably gonna not like the smothering that much unless you're some kind of weirdo. But you're not a weirdo, are you? Right. I'll keep that in mind. Well, it looks like the bone magic wasn't doing a lot. What if instead I use this magical, sweepy nighttime quill magic thing, and I draw little hexagrams all over your face? I can draw a hex of tranquility, and a hex of peace, and a hex of sleep, and lots of other things that can help you. Are you ready for me to draw on your face with the sweep quill? Not to be confused with me. Mine is quill with one L. But this is also a quill, so it's kind of funny. Alright, I'm gonna draw a hexagram on your face. Ready? It's hard to hold these with these long claws. Okay, so I'm going to draw the hexagram on your face. And it's gonna be very, very effective. And very, very sweepy. And you can just empty your mind and only think about good things. Don't think about the Shadow Man. You won't even need to see the Shadow Man because you're gonna fall asleep. So there's that, and you're gonna have such wonderful dreams like real ones, and not like this where you're awake but asleep and paralyzed. It's kind of funny that you just have to lie there. I know you can't really speak or turn your head or do anything right now, but I'm pretty good at making assumptions about what people want when they're paralyzed. I'm good at reading people. It's kind of my job, silly. So nice little hexagrams to empty your mind and soothe your anxious thoughts and just do all the things that help you sleep at night and help you get more restorative REM sleep. You need a deep restorative rest. Why have you been awake for so long, silly? 43 hours is a very long time. Hey, are you okay? You seem a little unfocused in your brain. Oh, that's better. I just like to draw the hexagram. I'm pretty good at hex magic. I sort of, I majored in hexes in demon school. But I never went to sweep magic school because they don't really like sweep Wallace's demon that much. They see us as more of, like an infestation to kill. But I feel like I am very, very different and special among sweep Wallace Wallace's demons. And if everything starts to go my way and I start to show real progress, perhaps we can change the whole system and we can try to have these Sweep Wallace's demons come and help you sweep, instead of coming and scaring you and crushing your chest and lungs and making you think you're possessed. I mean, there is a demon right here, but it's okay, because I'm different. Sweep Wallace's demon. Everything's gonna be just fine. It's all gonna be okay. It's all gonna be fine and good, and none of the things that have been keeping you awake. One time I met this girl and she had been awake for 73 hours. And I tried to help, but she didn't seem to understand that once the mudman arrives at your door, and he's just a big, glob, humanoidish sort of shaped, just dripping mud everywhere, that it's too late. You're about to go into a triple-decker inception nightmare that you cannot wake up from. But you will be lucid. You'll know that you are dreaming, but also you will feel pain. And unfortunately, I didn't get there in time. And so she went through the inception triple-decker nightmare, lucid nightmare where she could feel pain. We tried sending Freddy Krueger to maybe try to convince her that sweeping is good for you. That by staying up for so long and having Freddy Krueger to come punish, that maybe she would understand. But what they don't understand, and the system I'm trying to change, is that you cannot punish someone for not being able to sweep. That in fact makes them not want to sweep even more. But that's why nightmares, I feel like, don't work as much. But Sweep Wallace's demons, I feel like people will do their best to avoid the Sweep Wallace's demons by going to bed soon. But sometimes people have lots of problems, and those people just can't sweep for whatever reason. And I feel like it's unfair to chronically punish the chronically insomniacs. I think that there is much better things that we can do. So I've drawn about 50,000 hexes on your face. Do you feel any more tired? Oh, well, perhaps you could be a little more tired if you tried. Will you try for me real quick? Okay, it seems like you're trying pretty hard. I suppose I'll have to go on to the next thing. Well, the next thing we have for you is this sweeping potion. You'll notice it is a very dark purple. It is incredibly potent. It's about 10 million milligrams of NyQuil in one bottle. I invented it myself, although some people say that if you take that much sleeping medication, you skip past the sweet paralysis and go straight to the Shadow Man. And you do not want to meet the Shadow Man. So, anyway, I feel like I've taken out all of the things that cause the Shadow Man to appear. If you take this potion and you drink it all up, then you'll probably go to sleep. But also, perhaps you'll meet 10 million Shadow Men. It's never really been tested. So, the sample size is pretty low, and for the research is needed. Would you like to be my guinea pig and try the ultimate draft of the Living Dead NyQuil version? You don't like that? But I made it so special. You could be the first human to die from taking 10 billion million quadrillion milligrams of NyQuil. You don't like that? Well, here's the thing. You can't move because you're paralyzed. And I can kind of do whatever I want. And I want to prevent further torture of insomniacs. So you're gonna have to drink it no matter what. Go on. It's spilling down your chin, Suey. Try not to spill so very much. No, it tastes good, see? It's the grape version. Yummy, 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 yummy. There we go. wonderful, extra super NyQuil. Are you asleep yet or are you dead? Sometimes it can be hard to tell. No, you are very much awake. You are awake, but you're asleep, but I'm still here, and the Shadow Man is not here. So, what if we just take a moment to relax your mind and let the 10 million bajillion NyQuils kick in? What do you say? Alright. Relax your mind. Empty your mind of all thoughts of the Shadow Man. Just stop thinking about the Shadow Man, silly. You're gonna be okay. You're gonna be just fine, because I'm gonna help you sleep. I just really foresee a future where we can have a more loving and mutually beneficial connection with the humans. I mean, we wouldn't even get to interact with you if you didn't have sleep paralysis. We're sort of a very special. We live in a very special little dimensional pocket, you see. Unlike the devils that work down in hell, they get to interact with humans every day as part of their job. But I don't want to work in hell, because I like humans way too much. Are you feeling it? Because I know I said it was NyQuil, but it is also a magic potion. It's just that NyQuil is about 99% of its ingredients, and the other 1% is like tons and tons of magic and also probably some mysterious fluids. But they will all help. You seem like you're getting a little bit more sleepy. Are you getting a little bit more sleepy? Good. Just empty your mind. Relax your mind. Relax your mind. Do not worry about anything at all. Not even a little bit. Just relax. Go to sleep. It's all gonna be okay. And you're gonna get some sleep. Just letting the potion kick in. Just letting the potion kick in. Wow, good. It seems like the hexes are creating lines of shadow and light all over your face. And so I think that means it's working. So it's possible that I'm trying too many things in a row. And like a printer that's been broken, the queue is gonna all kick in at once, and you're gonna suddenly be in like the 10,000th level of sleep, which is actually a vegetative coma. So we'll try not to do that. Okay, I'm doing my best, alright. Like I said, I have very limited sample sizes for all of my concoctions. So, I'm really trying. Okay, I really like humans. You're also really silly. I suppose while we wait for that to kick in, we could also use some of this sweepy sand, magic sand, to dust on your eyes. I stole this from a fawn who got it from a mysterious seller. She said that usually the powder she keeps in this bag is a hallucinogen, but she emptied it out and instead put sweep dust in it. So I trust her because I trust any beautiful lady with my entire heart, soul, and mind, and I would never question her. So it's probably full of perfectly normal stuff. So let's just get in there and are you having some kind of psychosis? Hallucinogens? Oh, she said that there were no more hallucinogens. There must have been some contact. guess it's kind of hard to clean powder out of a weather bag. Well, let me just see inside. Are you sweet magic or are you hallucinogens? Hallucinogens all the way down. Well, I probably should have tested that before I started to just give you things. But you know what? Maybe the hallucinations will be magical clouds of sleep and relaxation instead of hallucinations of the Shadow Man. Just magical clouds. Good. That's what I like to hear. I like to hear about magical clouds helping you relax your mind. Relax. Do not worry about anything. Everything is gonna be okay, silly. Well, while that kicks in, I suppose we could just have a little chat. And by that I mean, you stare at me with your terrified, very wide open eyeballs. And I do whatever I want, hoping that you fall asleep. We still have some time before the Shadow Man will step in. So I would probably try to get around to sleeping faster. If you could possibly, even try it all. Okay. Well, while the magical NyQuil sleep potion kicks in, and while the magic dust kicks in, I thought I could read you from the most boring thing that has ever been written. And maybe that will help you sleep. What do you think, silly? Good. So I'm just gonna read from the most boring thing there ever was. Okay. Written down in this book is some of the most boring stuff I've ever seen in my entire life. Alright? So let me just open it and I can read some of it to you. Ready? Okay. Right. Modification of Our Climate by Joseph Wallace. Every now and then, some weather sage predicts extremely cold winters, and another ventures to say that the sun is gradually losing heat, and in time Arctic cold will prevail over the globe. Whatever may have been the changes during the vast cycles of time prior to the advent of man, or whatever the changes in the time to come, one thing is quite certain, that our climate has been modified within the past 2,000 or 3,000 years. There have been 15 climatic changes since the beginning of the Glacial Age, each change lasting 10,500 years, and each change reversing the season in the two hemispheres. The pole, which has enjoyed continuous summer, being doomed to undergo perpetual winter for 10,500 years, and then passing to its former state for an equal term. The physical changes upon the Earth's surface during the past 80,000 years modified the changes of climate even in the Arctic regions, so that the intense cold of the former epochs was much modified during the latter epochs. It's pretty boring. Reckoning these climatic changes in their order, we had entered the epoch of a more genial temperature about 1,500 years ago, and if no disturbing change takes place during the present epoch, we may reasonably expect a gradual modification of our winters for 9,000 years to come. The changes to intense cold from perpetual summer during the greater part of the glacial period are supposed to have been caused by the high temperature of the North Pole as compared to that of the South Pole, owing to the distribution of land around the two, the South having almost none. Dr. Quil thinks it was caused by the varying inclination of the Earth's axis, which produced the relative position of the two poles toward the sun to be periodically reversed at distant periods. Dr. James Kelkey agrees with Quil. Of course he does. on the reverse of seasons every 10,500 years during certain periods of high ellipticity of the Earth's orbit. But it may be asked, how could the fauna and flora, that's the one that sold me the hallucinogens, but how could the fauna and flora propagate themselves under such conditions? The flora itself at the Quaternary age was of extreme vigor. We know this from the little witches wept us, but more especially from the presence of a large number of herbivorous animals, stags, horses, elephants, rhinoceros, etc., which animated the plains and valley of Europe and America at the same time. Evidently, they could not have lived and propagated themselves without abundant vegetation for nourishment and development. That which has been deceived the adherents of the glacial theory, as understood in its absolute sense, is they have generally placed a too high estimate on its extent and intensity. It needs but a little effort of the reasoning powers to come to the conclusion that the Earth had cooled to the degree that all animal and vegetable life could exist upon it, and that a portion of the Earth's surface permanently covered with snow and ice was absolutely indispensable to the existence, perpetuity, and well-being of animal and vegetable life. Again, they have attributed to the glaciers the rocks, gravels, and other material which they have found spread here and there, long distances from the mountains. The transportation of so-called erratic rocks has appeared inexplicable in any other way, and the piles of rock and gravel have been considered so many moraines, that is, deposits of diverse material transported by the glaciers. They do not regard the probability of other agents taking the place of glaciers, and undervalue the moving power of water. Water in liquid state has often produced analogous effects, and it has often been the error of the glacierists to confound the one with the other. The erratic rocks and the moraines are undoubtedly the ordinary indications of the ancient gravels, but taken isolatedly, they are not sufficient proof. In order to convince, they should be accompanied with a third indication, which is the presence of striated rocks which we find in the neighborhood of our actual glaciers. When all these signs are together, then there is hardly a possibility of error, but one alone is not sufficient because it can be the effect of another cause. No doubt the temperature was really low at the Quaternary age, and that the epoch generally assigned to man's advent in European countries, but the difference was not so great as some say. A lowering of 4 degrees is sufficient to explain the ancient extension of the glaciers. We can work on this figure as the maximum, for it is proved today that humanity played the main role in the glacial phenomena. The beds of rivers and the alluvia are there to tell that all the water was not in a solid state at the time, that the glaciers were much more extended than in our days, and that the courses of the rivers were infinitely more abundant. When this is understood, we can reasonably reduce the extension of the ancient glaciers, the lowering of the temperature at the Quaternary age, and account for the uninterrupted life of the fauna and flora. However, we must not fall into the opposite excess and assert, as some have done, that the glacial period is comparatively recent, the traces of which are too plain and fresh in some localities to assign it to an age prior to man, and that the temperature has rather lowered itself since this epoch. This is really boring. I'm so sorry, but if you're not asleep by now, it's time to get smothered. So let me just get this little towel. It's very nice. And I just want you to hold right there. Hold right there and... Good. Stop struggling, silly. This is all your fault for not falling asleep earlier. If you would just fall asleep, then you wouldn't have to be smothered. There we go. Relax your mind. Relax, relax. Do not worry about anything. I'm trying to make you sleep so you don't have to see the shadow man. If you had fallen asleep accordingly to my plan, then we wouldn't have had to progress to the smothering, silly. But I sure did my best. I did everything I could do to avoid the smothering. Perhaps I was wrong. Perhaps humans deserve to be punished for not going to sleep. I thought maybe that I could do something to help, but I guess not. I suppose now that my sample size is 1 to 2, that's enough to say that humans cannot be saved, and forever must be assigned a sleep paralysis demon when they don't sleep enough. That's it. That's right. Just smother, smother, smother until you wake up. And you'll think that it was a dream, but it wasn't. I was here, trying to help you. You're not accepting my help, and eventually smothering you into sedation. There we go. If your vision is starting to go black, that's really normal, and you do not need to worry. There's no need to worry, silly. I'm just smothering you in this weird dimensional pocket. Please just submit to the smothering, and everything will be okay. Just smothering, smothering. Do not worry. If you just go and let me smother you and you fall asleep, you won't have to see the shadow man. He is not as forgiving and killing as I am. Thank you for being my guinea pig. It turns out humans cannot be saved, and they must be smothered and punished. I learned a lot today. Thank you so much for teaching me. Just relax. Relax your mind. Relax, relax. Alright. That's all I wanted, silly. I'll go to sleep.